Hey ho, Allison Scammell here, and we have reached part 4 of our 4-part series where we're going through the hidden energy leaks in your business through your human design energy centers. If you haven't had a chance to check out the first 3 episodes part of this series, we run through all the centers with the exception of the sacral, in which I'm about to take you through right now. So I really do encourage you to listen to all 4 episodes so you get the full picture of your 9 energy centers. If you haven't yet, go over to my brand new site where you can run your human design chart for free. I'm very excited about it. That's AllisonScammell.com/chart, and you can find that link in the show notes. All right, let's get to the sacral and the root centers. And these centers will guide us to where burnout and pressure may be driving our business without us even realizing it. Starting with the sacral. This is a super important center, I want to say, if you're open here. And that is manifestors, projectors, and reflectors. I'm, of course, a projector. I'm open here. And this really does dictate so much of our lives because when you've opened this here, you have a very finite access to energy. Even if you're doing the work that lights you up so much you could just like dance from the rooftops, you will still run out of gas in about 4 hours per day. And that's if you're getting your good rest in the evening and you're, kind of a well-rested person generally. If you're not, that could be even less than 4 hours. If you are a generator and manifesting generator, that means you will have a defined sacral. And it doesn't mean that you are meant to just work nonstop without rest. And it doesn't mean you don't get burnout. You do, or you can, I should say. However, you have a more infinite access to energy. It's more consistent. And especially because you are here to find the work that you feel called to gain mastery over. You are here to do work that really lights you up. And when you are doing work that lights you up, you can sustain consistent energy well beyond 4 hours without burning out. So let's go through it. The sacral is your center for vitality, sustainability, sexuality, and perseverance, which I was kind of talking about earlier. And I'm always curious. Some people say sacral and some people say sacral. What do you say? DM me on Instagram or Facebook and let me know. I kind of go back and forth. I think it's a neither neither, but I'd just be curious. I'm kind of been arriving on sacral lately, so I'm just going to be going with that. It provides life force energy for work, creation, and consistent output. If you have definition here and you're a generator or manifesting generator, you have consistent access to energy and can sustain work over time when it feels aligned. Very important there. Your energy responds to what lights you up. If you are a manifestor, projector, or reflector, and you have openness in your sacral, your energy is inconsistent and not meant for constant output. You may amplify others' energy and struggle to know when enough is enough. I'm the only projector in my family. Of all the charts I've run all the charts of every family member I have who I have birth data for. And the only other projector in my family is my stepson. And we are not related by blood, although, I love him as if he was. But when I look at all the people in my family that I have a blood relationship to, I have yet to find another projector. I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but I just haven't come across. And I grew up on a family farm. So if you've ever taken any human design class, when you get to the projector section, the teacher will almost always give the example of like some projector who grew up on a farm and like was dying energetically as a kid because they couldn't keep up with the pace that farm work often demands of a person. And all I can say of that story, which I kind of like feels trite to me now, was that was 100% me. I was the only projector in my family, although one of my brothers is a manifester. So he also has this issue where we're not meant for long days of farm work. But it's funny, like, I don't know, my brother somehow overrode things better than I did. I just really struggled as a kid to keep up. And so, with that in mind, with that struggle in mind, let's unpack where it may leak in your business. If you're defined, you can overcommit and say yes to too many things with all that energy, which also leads to burnout. You keep working past the point of alignment because you have the energy. You build a business that depends on constantly doing. And again, the result is more burnout and loss of connection to what excites you, which is like the most important thing for a generator or manifesting generator. If you have openness here, you may try to keep up with others and match their energy. It'll never work, especially if they have definition. You don't know when to stop and end up exhausted. You can say yes when you don't actually have the energy. And for all of these types, when you're saying yes when you don't have the energy, it actually prevents, for example, projectors. We're here to wait for the invitation. If we don't have the energy, it actually stops invitations coming into our experience, and it really stops the aligned invitations. If you're a manifester, you won't have the energy to follow that creative flow that you're here to do. And if you're a reflector, you can find yourself in those environments that aren't aligned to you, and it's going to exhaust your energy even more. So, for all the types, the result is depletion, inconsistency, and a difficulty sustaining your business. Man, do I have experience with that. And one of the things I've discovered, and we'll talk about this more as we get into the turnaround section, is, I also have a defined will, which, if you remember from that episode, that's also a prone to burnout place because I have this willpower to like get the job done. And so then you can end up overdoing it. I have discovered with my particular human design, I need more rest than I ever imagined. And the biggest obstacle to giving myself rest is not my day, it's not my to-do list, it's me. It's me not beating myself up for giving myself permission to rest. And this is a big core wound of mine, and I know that all listeners of all types and definitions can relate to this. So really be on the journey with it. It is a journey to rewire your thinking, decondition the thoughts that give you ideas that are some form of resting is lazy. You have to work your butt off to succeed, burn the candle at both ends. And that's really, really, really not how we're designed to be, live, work, and thrive. And especially if you have openness here. You will never find aligned success if you are overworking. So let's talk about how to turn it all around. If you have definition here, be selective with what you respond to. Let your energy guide your yes and no, and work in ways that feel satisfying, not productive. Think about that for a second. Let me repeat it. I invite you to work in ways that feel satisfying and not just productive. So if it feels satisfying, it will be productive. So you're looking for satisfying and productive and not just productive. If you have openness here, stop trying to operate like you have consistent energy. Speaking from loads of experience here, build rest and space into your business, honor your limits, and make decisions based on what you can actually sustain, and give yourself more rest each and every day than you possibly think you could. And sooner or later, you're going to start dipping into the right amounts. But I have a strong hunch that you're not anywhere near that yet. All right, moving into our final center, the root center. This is the center for pressure, drive, and momentum. It gives the urge to move, act, and get things done. It is not a motor for sustained energy, but a pulse of pressure designed to initiate movement. I find that very satisfying. I have definition here, and when I really pay attention to that pulse, it really puts you in this amazing flow when you start to notice it and align to it. So if I have 10 things that I want to get done in a week and it's Monday, I really try to follow that pulse of pressure regarding to what task wants to be initiated into movement. And maybe it's none of the 10 things and it's something else. And if I don't have deadlines, can I give myself permission to change the plan to follow that flow? So if you do have definition here, you have a consistent way of handling pressure and stress. I always say a little bit of pressure is good for you, never too much, of course, but giving yourself a hearty goal with a deadline can actually really help you move into high expression of your energy. You are built to move with pressure in a steady, reliable way and can initiate action without becoming overwhelmed. With openness at the root, you amplify pressure from others and feel a constant urgency to act. You may rush decisions, push yourself unnecessarily, and feel like you're always behind or not doing enough. So if you have openness here, you always want to check in to see if you're racing to get through your to-do list so that you can feel free. Open root centers always want to feel free and always feel like freedom is elusive, not something they can reach because there's too much to do that gets in the way of the freedom. So where this leaks into your business, if you have definition, is you create constant pressure for yourself to keep moving and keep producing. You operate in urgency even when it's not required. You build a business that never slows down, and this results in chronic stress and disconnection from your natural pace, which is that natural pulse of energy. With openness here, you can again also feel pressure to do things quickly just to relieve that discomfort, just so you can feel free. You rush decisions, offers, and content. You operate from urgency instead of alignment. The result is scattered action, misaligned choices, and unnecessary stress. So, enough of all that. Let's get into how we patch up our leaks. With definition, channel pressure into intentional action instead of constant motion. And that was a true game changer in my own business when I started to do that. Create space between pushes so you're not always on. That means lots of rest, and let pressure initiate, not control your business. With openness, slow down before acting on pressure. Recognize that urgency isn't yours. Make decisions from clarity, not wanting the urge to have relief. And build timelines that support your pace, not someone else's. My invitation for you this week is to notice where pressure and energy are driving your business. Where are you saying yes when your energy isn't actually there? Where are you overworking instead of responding to what feels aligned? Where are you pushing just to relieve pressure? Pick one place where this is happening and shift it. Say no to one thing that drains you. Say yes to one thing that genuinely energizes you. Give yourself permission to stop before you're exhausted. Let this be the week where your energy becomes something you trust, not something you push. That's when your business becomes sustainable and actually starts to grow. That's a wrap for this series, my dear ones. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, I have a wonderful, wonderful place to run your chart. Head on over to AllisonScammell.com/chart. It is free. Run your chart, and I would love for you to explore the options there that are available. And as always, until next time, may you be soul alive.